morning and welcome. It is Friday, November 10th, and happy Veterans Day weekend to everybody. I know that's tomorrow, but we won't be on. So I wanted to make sure that we recognized our veterans early. My name is Ramsey, the Executive Director of Southwest Alternate Media Project, your Film Friday host. Well, Todd's not here, and I get the joy of Dr. Natalie Garza, HCC History Professor, joining me today as my co-host. I'm super excited. Good morning, Natalie. How are you?
Good morning, Randee. I'm good. We're live on Houston Community College District Facebook page. That's Houston Community College, not HCC. We're also on YouTube, and you can also find us on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
That's right. As I always say, there's no excuse for missing your up-to-the-minute updates and knowing everything that's going on here at HCC. I'm super excited. We have a great show today, and sweater weather is back, Natalie. So that's good news.
Yes, I had to make sure to bundle up my little one before we went outside this morning. She was very excited about the rain.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the rain. My yard is very excited about the rain. So my daughter, the planter, very excited. So it's a good day all around. Today we have some great guests with us. I'm super excited. We have Kathleen Crist, Executive Director of the Houston Area Parkinson Society. And we're super excited because what an important topic. Catherine, good morning. How are you? Kathleen. I keep saying Catherine. Sorry, it's Kathleen.
Not a problem, my whole life. So I'll answer to just about anything. I'm one of four kids. I'm good. Thank you. I'm excited to be back and look forward to our conversation.
Well, I'm super excited. We'll be back with you in 10 minutes, but we're going to start this morning with our Film Friday guest, Lee Liu, director of a new documentary, A Town Called Victoria, that is set for wide release on PBS on November 13th, broadcast and streaming. I'm super excited about it because Swamp hosted a screening and a Q&A and a recording of Eddie Robinson's show, I See You, with Lee and about the documentary, 2 weeks ago now, which was so great. So I'm super excited. Welcome to the show, Lee.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let's take a look at the trailer for a moment because I think it's so important that people understand the context of what we're going to talk about. And it looks great, and I know that it's been well received. What drew you to the story about Victoria, Lee?
Well, originally I'm from Sugar Land, so I grew up, very much in this region. And when the fire had happened, I live in California now as well, but lived there at the time. And I just saw so many notifications on my social media from people that I knew from high school, from my time in Sugar Land, just having a deep connection with Victoria and the mosque that was at the center of all of this. So it just felt like such a heartbreak because it was happening in our collective backyard in a way. So that was definitely so heart-wrenching, heart-rendering. But the next day when almost 400, 500 people showed up at the mosque to hold a peace rally to say that we put our arms around you in this moment of trauma for this Muslim community, that really sparked an interest in me to really dig in and to learn more about this town, because what I saw in that act of gracious kindness was what I loved about being from Texas, and a sense of neighborly community and solidarity in a way that I really miss being out here. So I think that was an interesting entry point, because not only do you have a group of people saying that they supported this, Muslim community, you also had a burning mosque in front of them as well. So the dichotomy and the range of expressions between those two things was so great, and I thought would really make an interesting story to tell in this time.
Well, and I think what is so interesting is it really is a matter of there's this moment of national recognition of this terrible act, but what really happens when the cameras leave and the attention is turned away? And I think, can you kind of delve into, because I know the film delves into that. So
Mhm.
can you speak to that for a moment?
Sure. I mean, we see these quick stories every day in our news cycle of tragic events. And I think that, unfortunately, the news cycle doesn't have the sustaining, attention to really figure out what are the ramifications and the ripple effects of something like this. And with our show, with our story, and for me personally, I was invested as to what would happen a year later, 2 years later. How does this mosque get rebuilt? How will the trial, result in terms of giving justice to the Muslim community at this time? So I think the series, it's 3 parts, and I think the first episode is about the promise of community. The second would be the failure of community, and the third would be the reality of community, all wrapped up in sort of this, 2 to 3 year period of how this community, dealt with this hate crime. And the bittersweetness at the end is that there's just some stuff you can't come back from, especially for this community's sense of safety in this town.
Well, I think that's really true. And as somebody who lived for more than 5 years in a Muslim country in the Middle East,
Mm,
I get the dichotomy of what the perception of Islam is versus the reality. And you can live right next door to it. If you don't open your heart and your mind to it, you don't see it. But
right.
especially right now, it's incredibly topical how we talk about the differences that we have in religion and culture, and how do we embrace that and honor it and, not be scared of it.
Yeah.
So as somebody who grew up in Texas, what is your hope for our future as the diverse society that we are?
Well, I mean, I never thought that we would be releasing this series in a time like this. It's so unfortunate that we are seeing the exact same things regarding vandalization of mosques and synagogues around the country. And I hope people can, especially in Texas, can really see that, I hope people can really find community with each other and build lasting solidarity with each other, because Texas is so diverse. I mean, Houston is so diverse. And so how do we build upon our strengths and our diversity, and also build upon our sense of culture and hospitality and sense of generosity to build better communities for each other? Because I hope Texans can see that there's room for all, and all people deserve safety to grow their families, to be in peace, and to be protected by the same laws. So, how can we embrace each other in such, difficult times?
And I think you mine that in the documentary. I mean, I think you do mine that quite a bit. Like, how do we, yes, there are some things you can't come back from, but also how do we embrace each other? How do we live in this very diverse? I mean, you're right. Houston is the most diverse city in America.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do we say yes to that in a way that is inclusive and encouraging and yet not scary?
Right. I think it takes people that disagree with each other to make a brave step towards each other. If there is a house of worship in your town, in your community, that you haven't gone by and said hello, those little acts do so much. Just to say hello, you're a part of our community, welcome, and this is my name, and I live right around from where this community is. Those little things do a lot, and to really seek and understand, versus not just the surface hello at the grocery store, I've seen you around, that kind of thing, but really try to understand what experiences for those folks, especially in a time like this where it's so divisive yet again. Just be bold and ask open-hearted questions, and I think that spirit will take you very far if you're really curious.
Is that one of the takeaways, is that one of the things you've learned in working on this documentary is I don't know what I don't know, but I shouldn't be afraid to ask?
Yeah, definitely. This whole, 6 year project was a curiosity, an exercise in curiosity. I didn't know these people 6 years ago, and now I have a whole slew of people in a community that I think are part of my life now, because I kind of challenged myself to ask questions where I just didn't know the answers to, and the incredible warmth and receptiveness of the community. It speaks to them as well, the sense of vulnerability that you get from what you hear from them in the show. it's kudos to them for being so open as well, to receive my curiosity with a sense of, open-heartedness. And I think that's true for most people. We don't I just don't think people, want to go into an argument with each other or disagree. I think people can sense when someone's being genuine about trying to learn about something they don't know about.
I'm so excited for this documentary personally on so many levels, but can you remind us where we can find it and where we can follow it, what dates and
Sure. So our national broadcast and release on streaming will be on PBS next Monday. So this upcoming Monday, the 13th. And I asked the station, Channel 8, and it'll be on Monday, November 13th at 8 o'clock. They'll be showing episodes 1 and 2. And then Tuesday, November 14th, they'll be showing episode 3 at 9 o'clock. So that'll be on, the television station, but you can find it on streaming on the PBS app, on Amazon, or wherever you stream, films and television. You'll be able to find it on Monday.
Lee, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for doing this documentary. And hey, keep us posted on your next project. I know you're not even there yet, but I'm so excited for you as a young filmmaker because my friend Alfred. I know you worked at the Film Commission for a while. So congratulations on this great success. And we look forward to seeing you again soon to hear about your next project.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, 100%. I don't know about you, Natalie, but I'm very excited.
I am too. I love this and thinking about like things that I can show to my students that they would be really excited about. So it's on my list now to share with them.
Oh,
there's
it's
a great
really
PBS
good
discussion guide for teachers and educators. If y'all want that resource, I can send it to you. But we spent a good deal of time giving communities and educators a sense of a discussion guide to accompany the show as well.
Oh yeah, send that along, please. Yay.
Thank you. We're moving on to our next guest. We're joined by Kathleen Crist of Houston Area Parkinson Society. This weekend, they'll be hosting one of their most popular events of the year, the No Falls Festival. So Kathleen Crist, Executive Director of the Houston Area Parkinson Society, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So before we talk about the event, can you tell us a little bit about what is Parkinson's?
Of course. So Parkinson's disease is a neurological condition. It is progressive and degenerative, which means that it stays around for a long time and gets worse over time. We now know that it is the fastest progressing neurological disorder in the world. And we know that about 90,000 Americans are diagnosed each year. What happens is the brain stops producing dopamine, which is a chemical messenger that we all have that helps us regulate mood, memory, attention, pleasure, but also movement. And so primarily what happens with people with Parkinson's is that their movement becomes impaired, slow, and then sometimes they have unwanted movement like tremor. But there is, with Parkinson's, we know we have no cure. We have lots of treatment options. It's a very manageable disease, and it's something that we have to manage over the course of decades for most people, depending on the age that they are diagnosed.
And is there a particular population that is affected by Parkinson's?
Well, white men tend to be affected more than any other demographic. We don't exactly know why that is. There's likelihood that that'll change over the course of time. But right now, we don't really have any answers as to why that is. But it is typically average age of onset is somewhere between 55 and 60, although some people can be diagnosed in their 20s and 30s. Often you see less of that. You see more people diagnosed in their 40s and 50s, but it can be also diagnosed later in life because age certainly is a risk factor.
And you talked about, some of the symptoms that people experiences. Is there anything else that we should know about how Parkinson's progresses?
Well, Parkinson's is a very interesting disease. And what is also pretty interesting is how different, how it presents in different people, different ways, how it progresses in different people in different ways. And so we know that we know that over time it will get worse, but we don't know at what rate, and we don't know how that looks. So for some people, it's about slowness, tremor. It can affect things like the ability to smell. It can affect things like the ability to speak, to smile. Fine motor skills are often affected. Balance is affected, which kind of, is a big part of why we're doing the program that we're doing tomorrow.
So tell me a little bit about the program.
So we call it our No Falls Festival, and we try to work in fun where we can work in fun while also tackling serious topics. This is the third year that we've done this, and we do it in partnership with Texas Women's University and their School of Physical Therapy. And what we do is we bring people together for some interactive workshops, for some opportunity to do balance screening, strength testing, talk about home safety, things that they can do, modifications that they can make. We know that falls are not good for anyone. We especially want to make sure, because people with Parkinson's, due to their postural changes and due to their slowness of movement, due to their inability to kind of correct themselves when off balance, that falls are a pretty serious thing for people with Parkinson's. And so our goal is to kind of raise awareness of how people can stay safe in their environments, but also the things that they can do exercise-wise, or just, specific tasks that they can do to help improve things that will help keep them safe. Our hips and our ankles are actually a big part of balance, and we often forget about that when we're doing exercises and things that we can do to kind of improve our overall health. So we focus on some of the things that are really tied to keeping people safe and upright.
So I know that, falls can be really dangerous. Can you talk a little bit more about that? I understand, because of people's balance, that becomes more likely, that falls become more likely. But the impact of a fall, how does that affect somebody's health?
Well, it's not too different from the general population, right? So we know that when people fall, things break. When people fall in certain areas like bathrooms, all you're going to do is hit something hard. We want to avoid additional trauma to the head, which can be life-threatening. We also want to avoid trips to the emergency room and avoiding hospitalizations. People with Parkinson's don't do well in those environments because they have very specific medical needs and medication needs. And so what we're really trying to do is maintain and preserve people's independence, keep them in a state where they've already got Parkinson's kind of working against them. So how do we prevent them from having to overcome additional challenges like more mobility problems, or having to go from being upright and ambulatory to using assistive devices, or, even having to be, go to a wheelchair if they have really done some damage. Because all of those setbacks are not helpful to the ongoing Parkinson's process that they're already experiencing. And we also know, you hear all the stories about, you go to the hospital and you something else happens there, you get sick there. So we want to keep people out of the hospitals. We want to keep people out of rehab facilities. But most importantly, we want to maintain independence so they can function in their own homes and in their own environments and kind of continue maintaining their quality of life.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think focusing kind of for somebody like myself who doesn't know anything about it, the idea of wanting people to be able to maintain their independence, I understand how valuable that would be. And it sounds like this festival offers really practical advice of, how to fix the home and how to, build up or try to preserve as much of, balance and things like that as possible. When is the festival, and where is it taking place?
It takes place tomorrow. We do a lot of our programs at the United Way, which is kind of centrally located here in Houston. Our service area is 8 counties. And so this makes it equally miserable for everyone to drive in from the outlying areas. And so it's from 10 to noon, and it's kind of an open house format. So people can come and visit whichever stations they want to visit, ask about home safety, ask about, phenomenons like freezing, get their balance screened, get their strength tested. And then we try to work in fun things like games that kind of challenge balance a little bit, like cornhole tossing and frisbee throwing. And of course, we're a highly food motivated organization. And so we always have fun kind of themed snacks and things like that. So it's at the United Way tomorrow, and from 10 to noon.
Thank you. Thank you for all of your information, Kathleen. I learned a lot. Kathleen Crist, Executive Director, Houston Area Parkinson Society. We will have your information on the post after the show.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for being here, and thank you for all that you're doing. I mean, as somebody with folks with Parkinson's in the family, it's a huge lift.
Well, we are proud of the work that we do. Wish we didn't have to do it, but are glad to be here and helping the community.
Well, Natalie, I learned so much today about Texas, about like the services for Parkinson's. I think it's a good show, but we have some announcements, one of which I'm sad to say, free haircuts at Central end November 15th. HCC is offering free haircuts again on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 9:30 to 2 Tuesdays, 9:30 to 2:30 Wednesdays at the Central campus, but go now because after the 15th, no more.
And the drama department, Homes for the Holidays, the game's afoot. It's the season for the drama department, so they're gifting us with a mystery. It's December 1936, and a Broadway star known for his portrayals of Sherlock Holmes invites fellow cast members to his Connecticut castle for a weekend of fun. That is, until one of them is stabbed to death. And so this play is taking place this Friday and Saturday, November 10th and 11th. And it also is on Monday, November 13th. It's at the HCC Stafford Fine Arts Center, and it's free. So reservations are encouraged. Check our post after the show for more information.
Cannot beat free at all. The Houston Cinema Arts Festival is on now through November 19th. Great screenings, local filmmakers, really terrific. They have venues all over Houston and a virtual short film program as well. Super great. Check it out. For more information, visit their website, cinemahtx.org. Their whole schedule's up there. That's most of my weekend is devoted to that. I'm super excited. Monday, we have free groceries. Monday, November 13th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our A-Leaf campus. The Community Health Market Trailer will be distributing free groceries for HCC students. Bring your Houston Food Bank Scholarship ID card, and if you don't have one, just arrive 15 minutes early and you can apply. So check our post after the show for more info. I always am happy to see the line of students, at that truck when I'm over teaching. So good news.
And HCC Sports Recreation student versus staff game. That is happening Wednesday, November 15th at 2 p.m. at the Northline campus. Cheer on your fellow students or maybe your favorite campus manager at a friendly soccer match. Participants will receive a prize. Check the post after the show for more info.
And we are kicking off the HCC Foundation's I Love HCC fundraising campaign. Well, it kicked off. We're continuing the fundraising campaign that inspires HCC employees to make personal donations in support of our students. Payroll deduction is the easiest way. They take it out. You never know it's gone. So best way to give. There's drawings and prizes if you need some motivation. And Natalie, I know that spring registration is open because I'm sure you're giving out those permission numbers.
Yes, I'm looking for people to get into my classes, and it's all various modalities. We have online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, in-person, and hybrid lab. And to learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
And Monday, Morgan Tuck from the HCC Counseling Department is back for Mental Health Monday. So lots coming up next week. That's just another great week of programming. I'm super excited. I love Mental Health Monday. I need Mental Health Monday.
Yeah, I think we all do, especially right before the break.
Yes, because we're all getting toward the end. Well, thank you so much for co-hosting with me today. I think it was a good job. Good show.
Thank you.
We still need Todd though, so we're looking forward to having him back. And thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the chilly weather, and we'll see you next time at HCC TV's Up to the Minute.